Hey everybody, it's the Commodore from the Clan of the Grey Wolf, and you are watching the weekly Wringer series here on clanofthegreywolf.com. Going with the low-tech option again today rather than the official Clan of the Grey Wolf flip cam. Several reasons for that. One, because I do have to shoot it in a little bit of a hurry because I've got a lot going on for the Halloween weekend coming up. And we'll probably, hint, hint, have a little bit of a Halloween-themed question coming up here very soon, as Halloween will fall between now and the next time that I speak to you. So I think that's probably a pretty good guess as to what we'll be talking about next week. This week, we've got a lot of things to do. We've got to cover the question from last week, which I know was very confusing for some of you because I asked about things that were decidedly low-tech. We've talked about a lot of things here on the Weekly Wringer, many things. I think one thing that we've talked about very little is anything that is low-tech at all. So this is the week to do it, and I'm happy to be a mediator, if you will, for all those great low-tech ideas that you guys had that you cannot live without. We will definitely review those. I will give you my choice and why, and then I will move on to the question next week, which will indeed, sorry, that wasn't a very good teaser, I guess, will indeed be about Halloween in one way, shape, or form. And I'm actually not trying to light the place like Halloween, as many of you probably have thought by now, because the lighting is kind of poor. It just happens to be a really cruddy day, and it's difficult to get the lighting that I'm looking for right now. But I figured rather than try to mess with it, I've got so much going on. It might as well be time for just just shoot it, edit it, post it, right? That's what it's all about here on the Weekly Wringer. All right. So, got some new people to introduce this week. Very excited about that. First, Save Me Bigfoot. That is an awesome username. Yeah, Save Me Bigfoot. If that comes from something that I'm missing, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume that you might be a little bit crazy, which is why you would be here in the first place watching me on Clan of the Grey Wolf. Let's see what else. Amsomnia Studios, another very, very interesting name. I like that a lot. That is very cool. And lastly, with a post this week that had me laughing out loud, and maybe I don't say that often, but a lot of times we do have a lot of things that happen in terms of posts on the Wringer. You guys put stuff up that's very funny. It makes me laugh. This week, that award for making me laugh out loud goes to the brand new Ted Flintstone. Fantastic post. Very much enjoyed it. Hope to see you making comments, and all of you making comments moving forward on the Weekly Wringer as the community grows and the breadth of knowledge represented by all of our viewership grows as well. Did you guys ever think about that? Now you have. All right. So let's see. Let's jump in here. Now, before I get to specific contributions themselves, let me say this. I asked the question kind of in a way to be ambiguous, right? There are many, many ways you can take low tech, especially the way that we generally talk about high tech stuff here in Clan of the Grey Wolf. So I did it to kind of see where you guys would put the line. Now, I'll be honest, the inspiration for this week's question, what really got me thinking was, I was actually trimming my fingernails with like a nail clipper, and I went, man, if I didn't have a nail clipper, I'd be doing this with like fingernail scissors or stuff like that. And I just thought, this is a low-tech device that I use quite a bit, and I completely take for granted. It's just a little mechanical thing that I take for granted. And if it weren't here and I couldn't get another one, what would really I do? I mean, I'd have to make do somehow. Maybe start biting my nails or something. But anyway, that was the inspiration. Doesn't mean that I was only thinking of that in particular. As a matter of fact, I have several ideas of my own that are relatively high-tech. Someone 100 years ago would look at it and go, wow, that's unbelievable. But at the same time, is maybe not on the cusp of breaking-edge technology or bleeding-edge technology. I say breaking-edge. Yeah, anyway, so the point is, you guys get what I'm saying. It really could fall into any of those categories, and I have several contributions here that I think fall into all of them. So I like that you guys always take what I'm talking about and extend it into a lot of different scenarios, and this week was no different. Moving on to the contributions. Save Me Bigfoot, brand new contributor. And maybe whenever I say the name, I should be like, "Save me, Bigfoot." If whatever entertains you guys the most, that's what I'm here to do. Save Me Bigfoot said TV. Cannot disagree with that. Now, I think when we talk about this, it doesn't even have to be standard def, although they went to that pain to mark it as standard def. Let's just talk about TV in general, right? So I think many of us, if not most of us, if not all of us, grew up with TV as kind of an avid part of our lives, so much so that that we spent a lot of time with the television, and it's almost kind of background noise if it's anything at this point. We love to watch television shows, and there's kind of ways that we watch it that are traditional. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, I almost always have to have a TV on, and I have a TV in almost every room. And that's very important for me. Maybe not for you guys, but for me, it's there. And so if I'm going to lose television, I'm going to miss that a lot for a lot of reasons. So if the electricity goes down, having to lose the TV would be one of the first things I would lament, and I'll be the first person to tell you that. Youngblood, and hold on, I have to get my D6. Hold on. Okay. It's time to roll a D6, as we always do, or as we sometimes do with some of Youngblood's contributions. That's his shtick, as Astolia said a few weeks ago. So without further ado, here we go. And I happen to have the reference right up here on the screen. And it looks like this week's answer is light bulbs, which is fantastic. And I don't even know what to say about it. Think about this. The incandescent light bulb is 100 years old, right? I don't know if it's exactly 100 years old, but it's around that area, right? Think of how much you rely on that on a day-to-day basis. Now, I thought of this the other day, and it wasn't just because of the Wringer this week. I was actually thinking about this. Think of walking into a dark room and how long it takes your eyes to adjust, so on and so forth, right? Now, so a lot of times I'll take my cell phone and kind of hit the button and use it to light it up as a flashlight until I find a switch or something to be able to put it on. But think about if you lost the light bulb and you just couldn't use any kind of light whatsoever. It would be really, really daunting. I mean, it would make the world a lot scarier. Any of you that play Minecraft and know the feeling of kind of walking into a cave and then running out of torches, it's a scary, scary proposition, right? And I think that you can draw the ties literally to life with that. If you don't have a light to be able to turn on, it would make almost everything a lot more scary. Think about if we all walked around with candles still, right? Even gas lamps or things like that. I mean, you walk around with those kinds of things, they're uneven, they don't have the same kind of uniformity of an incandescent light bulb or a fluorescent light bulb, or even neon, something like that, which was Tesla's equivalent, right? So you have all of these incredible light sources that were gone, that would be, and the ones that you have would be so incredibly uneven that I think it just makes things really spooky. The walls always, everything kind of seems like it's moving in shadows, and that's not cool. Although, good for Halloween, right? Drastic came up with a big one today, or for this week, with glasses was the example given, but I'm going to say also contacts, extend out the contacts. I could not agree more. Even if we turn the light on, when I first got glasses, I could see just fine, no problem. Now that it's probably about 10 years later since I had my first pair of glasses, I am in a position now where if I don't have some kind of corrected vision, I better just be hanging out listening to music, because I am not going to see anything, right? That's not going to happen. Or, trying to drive home without glasses, that's just not going to happen at this point in time. So, glasses contacts are a very simple, easy invention. If it were gone tomorrow, we would all, or those of us that wear glasses or contacts, would all go batshit crazy. And let me tell you this too. One of the things, again, inspired this question is, have you ever sat and thought about how people got along without a particular invention? And I think about glasses and contacts because I think a person like me would be so limited in terms of what I'd be able to contribute to society if I couldn't actually see things, if I couldn't drive, if I couldn't, even walk down the sidewalk without kind of bumping into people without knowing who they are, squinting really hard, right? So think about that, guys. Think about what would happen before we had things like corrective vision. It's unbelievable. And I think almost all of these inventions, you could kind of sit and think back, what was life like before this was invented? And if you're anything like me, you're saying to yourself, I have no freaking idea. And glasses and corrective vision, definitely on the list. Mr. K talked about, and this is a classic, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you commented on it. I thought it was just a great contribution. He said the toilet, I'm going to go with indoor plumbing. All right. So as I think it basically is the same kind of general idea. An indoor toilet, indoor plumbing, shower, several of you mentioned that, sink, running water. Let me tell you guys, if I didn't have that, I would go absolutely out of my mind. Forget just walking outside to go use the bathroom. And I know that I happen to be a guy, and so in large part, the world is my urinal, to quote one of my friends from college. But to walk outside and have to go, and especially in the dead of winter when there's snow on the ground or something, and go to like an outhouse or something, which is basically a glorified hole in the ground, that's going to be complicated for me, right? The smell, just everything, I'm not feeling that. The idea of indoor plumbing really saves us so much, and we take it for granted every single day. If you've ever had a situation where you had to use not an outhouse, but a porta potty or something like that, you are really wishing at that moment you had some indoor plumbing and some walls around you, because that makes all the difference. Trust me. And I'll tell you guys, it's funny, because if you look around the world, not everybody uses toilets. Number one, in fact, most of the world does not use toilets. And indoor plumbing is still kind of a thing that is reserved for sinks, right? And I am always amazed by that. For all those countries that do not use toilets and have kind of that thing that you like sit in and pull your legs up over your ears or something, I don't know. I don't even know what the name of it is. Yeah, I would not survive there. I'm just telling you guys right now. I don't know what people did before that. And again, except on this, I know what people did before the toilet was utilized. I want no part of it, right? Nothing. Lenoir mentioned the radio. Now, you might be able to just tie this in with TV because it probably fits in the more general sense of, signals carried over the air that help you kind of, communicate with other forms of entertainment, right? Cool. I can dig it, but I'll tell you this. And so I try to use my CD player in my car as much as possible and things like that. Keep entertainment stocked in there, and Sirius satellite and all those kinds of things probably will be a part of what I want to do very soon. But the plain old radio when I get in the car is almost something I use almost every single day, right? It's there, and I think it's a very, very good contribution. And I'm not sure what I would do without it. And the next time you get into a car and it has no capability of playing any kind of music whatsoever, be it recorded or be it radio, live, if you have nothing and then you have to travel any more than like 10 minutes, I got to tell you guys, that is tough. I don't know how people that didn't have that before, driving down the street in cars with no electronics at all, let alone, a complex radio system. I'm just not sure how that all went down. I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't do road trips without that kind of entertainment. Trust me, it just wouldn't work. Amsomnia Studios. This is one that you are going to get brownie points for. And I'm telling you right now, I am not above bribery when it comes to comments here on the Clan of the Grey Wolf and the Weekly Wringer. I have to tell you, mentioning the Commodore 64 is going to get you mentioned. I'm telling you right now, the Commodore 64 is there. I don't care if you can live without it or not. The fact that you're rocking the Commodore 64, my namesake, if you will, on the site here, it is absolutely not to be missed. I could probably live without it. That being said, although myself, circa 1980, maybe 7 or 8. If I didn't have a Commodore 64 at that point, I probably would not have been able to live. But luckily I did, and that has turned me into the person that I am today. And for all of you poor bastards, that's why you're watching me right now, for better or for worse. And always, I didn't think I even mentioned this last week, and it was careless of me, and I hope that you will forgive me Chris Pranger, Prangerade. Thank you for resolving the mystery as to who it is.